Hello everyone, and welcome to this blog post slash beginning of a new series. Basically, March 29th, I'm going to be flying out to Japan, and I'm going to be studying there for 4 months at one of their colleges. I'm going to be studying Japanese and a lot of culture. It's going to be, I'll go into detail more later on about the class I'm going to take when I actually get closer, because we don't really know yet. We have to kind of sign up when it gets closer. But I have some really cool ideas, and it's going to be, like the kendo and, aikido and stuff like that. So it should be a really fun time. Every week I'm going to be posting a video kind of like this, where I'm going to be going over, before I get to Japan, I'm going to be going over my studying process to get fluent in Japanese, or at least as close to fluency as possible. I follow a lot of people online like Benny Lewis. There's a lot of online resources of how to learn a language really quickly, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do, because I don't have any formal teaching in Japanese, but I've been teaching myself a lot, and I think that if you really just put in the effort, that you can, learn anything you want. I've been studying Japanese now for about, I'd say about 2 to 3 weeks. Konnichiwa, kurete desu, hajimemashite, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, which is just basically, basic greeting. I know how to say this is something, so, kore wa sushi desu, or if you want to ask if this is something, kore wa sushi desu ka? So I know a very basic sentence structure, and on the other end, I've also been learning how to read Japanese, like learning the kanji and stuff. And so really with this video, I just kind of wanted to go over some of my studying techniques and what I'm going to be using each week to try to increase my proficiency and really to, just learn as much as I can before I get there. So the first thing I want to go over is how I'm learning the writing system, because a lot of people, they can become fluent in Japanese and don't even look at the writing system, because it's a big beast to tackle. I mean, there's 2,500 kanji that's used on a daily basis, and you could probably add another 3,000 to that if you wanted to get complete and total fluency, like business side and like medical side and stuff like that. Each one of them has maybe 3 readings about on average, and if you use them in this situation, it's that, and that situation is this. So basically what I've been using to study this is a great website called wanikani.com. It uses an SRS module, which basically is a spaced repetition system. So it'll give you a word, it'll give you a funny mnemonic to remember it. For example, maybe say the kanji is north. To make you remember it, it teaches you the radicals, which are both the parts of it. So like every kanji is made up of these things called radicals, which are shapes that they are put together. It first teaches you the radicals, and then it uses a mnemonic to make you remember what the kanji is by reading the radicals of the kanji. So like north, it has nail, bat, and spoon, and it has, an example of you going to the North Pole and beating up Santa Claus with your nail, bat, and spoon. And it like goes on about how he's a slave driver, and it just tries to make it as crazy as possible so that when you look at it, you can't help but, remember it. And then it'll teach you the reading behind it too, the most common one, and then when it gets into the vocab, which it has a lot of vocab on it too, it'll teach you the other readings as well. For example, that one's Hoku. So that's what I've been using to really just learn the written system, and it's been working really well. I mean, in about 2 to 3 weeks time, I've learned by memory about 60 kanji, which is great because I've actually been watching a couple different anime shows and Japanese media in general, and I've actually been able to start reading some of the stuff at the bottom. Not like, I'm just not talking sentences or anything, but like words here and there. I'm like, oh wait, that means Japan, that's Nihon, oh that's a city, and then I can maybe kind of pronounce the name, and I'm kind of close, but it's really cool to actually be able to look at the Japanese and understand it. So that's really covering the writing, and I'm supplementing that with, because grammar is a big part, I'm supplementing that with this book, Genki. It's a really great book. I mean, it's heavily recommended by everyone. Colleges, universities use it. It's a great tool, so I'm using this and just slowly going through it, learning the vocab, learning sentence structures, stuff like that. And so I also want to be able to speak it. I mean, that's the main goal of being able to learn a language. So I have to learn the listening and the speaking portion as well. To learn listening, I'm actually using a site, Japanese Pod 101. Japanese Pod, it's just a bunch of like 10 to 15 minute basically lessons, and they go through a dialogue spoken at full speed, just building off one another. So you learn a couple words at the beginning, and then it slowly builds words over and over and over time. So I'm going through that, getting my listening up, being able to distinguish between words, because a lot of times Japanese just kind of throw words together, like our language. It all sounds like one big word if you don't know where to cut it up. So I'm trying to figure out where to cut it up, trying to get that ear so I can actually start listening and really just being able to get in there and actually understand different Japanese people. It's a great resource, and I've just been really able to pick up a lot of Japanese from it. I've only been using it for a couple weeks now, but I've started to be able to hear how they speak and starting to be able to find those breaks in words, which is great. On top of that, I'm using a couple different techniques to learn at a, sort of just take it from a different angle and make it really fun. And one of those is to look up Japanese songs that I've been, because I like Japanese music a lot, so I like to look up Japanese songs that I've been, listening to for 2 or 3 years now, and really just go with it and go, syllable by syllable, word by word, so I can actually understand what they're saying. I first try to translate it myself, and then later on, I'll try to translate it. I keep it in a book like this. I'll write the line, and I'll try to translate it, then I'll look up the translation and see how close I was. And then now whenever I hear that song, I can actually listen to what he's saying and, translate it in my head. And I've learned you really learn when you can put some context behind it. You can really learn some words. Like zutto is always, and omoi is thoughts or feelings. That was in every single one of the songs I looked at, both those words. So now I know those by heart, which is great, because if you keep doing this over time, you can build up a large vocabulary you know by heart, put it in with how you can listen, put it in with the reading, put it in with the speaking, and that's how you get fluency. So really just put that all together. I'm gonna be making a video like this every week. I'm gonna be trying to show off my Japanese a little bit, try to start tying sentences together, and anytime I speak in Japanese, of course, I'll put a subtitle on the bottom. But it's a fun process, and I can't wait to get to Japan in about, I think it's, about 2.5 months from now. So it should be a cool process to watch from the beginning to when I get to Japan. I'll be making weekly videos there as well, of just, Japan culture and stuff like that. And then slowly showing my Japanese skills get better and show a cool trip. Thanks for joining me, and subscribe if you want to see, the chain, if you want to keep seeing videos like this. Thanks, and jamata.